Okay, we are going to get started with our Club Q for March 23. And the kit we're working on today this is what happy looks like. So you can see the instructions here. There's a clear photo on the front. There's color suggestions for Powder Puff chalking inks. It looks like we suggest Blueberry Bliss, Jade, and Winter Mint. But there are lots of colors that will match this. So if you don't have those colors, I actually have Jade and Baja Blue I think I'm going to be working with, but there's Fields of Green would work. Any of the blues, Sky Blue would work, Aqua, lots of different colors. So we're going to get started, and the first thing that we are going to work on is the pinwheels. Mostly because these take a little bit of time to dry. We're going to pull together the pinwheels, and then we are going to do the cutting diagrams, and then we'll start layering things on pages. So if you have your laser cuts all punched out, you should have 3 pinwheels, a small blue one, a large blue one, and then a small green one. They have this print on the other side, so go ahead and grab those. I am going to actually get our pages out of the way here, our samples, and we will get started on these. So what you want to do, these are a little tricky because they are a little hard to get the corners to stay glued down. Before we get started on that too, you want to get your embellishment bag because we're going to use these 3 buttons on your pinwheels. So have those buttons ready. And with the pinwheels, you can choose whichever adhesive you like to use best. I typically use my ATG gun for everything. Well, actually, it looks like this one's Patsy's. Stole it off her desk, but I use ATG gun for almost everything. If you do use a double-sided tape or something like that, just know it needs to be very, very tacky because these little pieces are kind of hard to get held together. So I'm going to do one. I'll do the biggest one because that one's the easiest one to get held down. I'm going to do that one with ATG, and then I'll show you with liquid glue. Also, the 3-in-1 liquid glue is awesome. It just takes a little time to dry. So what you want to do is, and you can choose whichever side of this you want to use. I'm going to put the adhesive on the solid blue side, and what you want to do is take a corner, fold it into the center, and I actually crease this down just a little bit because if you don't, it pops right back up. Then I take my ATG gun and I put a little more adhesive right over top of that to help hold it. And then I take the next corner, put it right in the middle, crease that just a little bit. I mean, you still want to have a little pop on it, but if you don't press it down, it will definitely pop back up. So each time you grab a corner, you skip a point. So I pulled this one down, we skip this point. We pull this one down, skip this point. Pull this one down, skip this point. So we will pull, did I put adhesive on there? And your adhesive, you don't want to make it any bigger than what your button will be because then your adhesive will show around that. So you just want to make it right in the center there. Pull this in, and these can overlap just a little bit. It does not have to be perfect. And then I crease these down just a little bit to make it so it will stay. And then I put a few more little spots of glue on there, and your button goes right in the center. So if you have really tacky tape, you can do it like that. The smaller ones are a little harder to use tacky tape on because they pop off a little easier. But I'll show you the next one using the Beacon's 3-in-1 glue. And it's basically the same technique. I'm going to put a little here in the center, not a lot because you don't want it to spread out too far, but about the size of the button. Hold that down, crease a little bit. See, and this you'll have to hold down a little bit because it takes a little longer to dry. Then I put another little dot on there, grab the next corner, crease it a little bit. The more you crease it, if you make it completely flat, it will stay better. But I kind of like having that dimension. So if you're using liquid glue, you want to use something that's very tacky, dries fairly quickly. Beacon's 3-in-1 doesn't take too awful long, but it does take a little longer for liquid adhesive to dry on this and for it to stay completely down. Another little dot. I'm going to put my button right in the middle. And then what I do is I find something kind of heavy. I have these heavy duty scissors, and it actually has a like a little screw right there that holds right in the middle of the button. So these scissors are really heavy, and I just sit that right on the button and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes or so. You can move it off of your workspace. But I'm going to do this one right here, and I'm going to use my ATG gun here. And if it's not staying, just crease this a little more and make it a little more flat. And then it doesn't pop up as easy here. And a little more in the middle for the button to stay on. Okay, and then you have your pinwheels ready to go. So this one I'm going to actually sit off to the side and just keep something heavy on it. It's holding pretty well right now, but give it a second and it would pop right back up. So I'm going to sit it over here. Sit these out of the way, and then we will get started on our cutting diagrams. So in your kit, you have, let me find my cutting diagram here. A cutting diagram, and on one side it has the blue turquoise diagram. Oops. On the other side it has another turquoise with a little print on it, and then 2 white papers. So these are the papers you are going to need. The turquoise 12 by 12, the 2 white papers, and these are 7 by 12. And the last aqua flower paper there. And we are actually going to start on the 2 7 by 12s. So these are pretty easy cuts, but grab your trimmer, put it out in front of you. And what I do is I just keep this right to the side so I can see what I'm working on. So we are going to do this first 7 by 12. We're going to cut off the 2-inch strip to begin with. So put the white paper in to the 2-inch mark and trim. And then I just set these aside in a pile. And then we're going to make the 5 by 7. So this right here is 5. We are going to turn it, put it in at 7, and trim. And then we're going to just scoot this in to, we want to make it a 5 by 3 3/4. So let's go into 3 3/4, 3.75, and trim. This is just an extra piece. You can get rid of that or save it for a tag or something for later. Okay, we have the first diagram done. We're going to do the second one. It has two 5x7s. So this is already at 7 inches. We're just going to turn it and cut at 5. Feed it through again and cut at 5. And we have all the white diagrams done. The next one, we will do the aqua flower paper, and we're going to trim a 1-inch strip off the edge. So I'm putting it into the one over here. So we have a 1-inch strip. And at any point, if I get going too fast, just go ahead and pause the video, because that is what is beautiful about having a video, is you can go at your own pace. Just hit pause whenever. Okay, so now we need a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to turn it, put it in at 3 1/4 and trim, and then 4 1/4 and trim. And this big piece that comes off of here that's left over, this is actually so you can use it behind the circles on page 1 if you want to. Those are technically meant to have pictures in them, but these right here, we gave you extra paper in case you just wanted to use like a printed paper to go behind there. That's how we have it in the instructions here, but really those are meant for photos. So you feel free to use that extra paper if you'd like, anywhere you like. And the last diagram is the aqua paper, aqua or turquoise. We are going to cut the 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 inch piece off first. So let's slide that in to 4 1/2. Trim, and then we'll turn it and cut it at 6 1/2. This is extra, so go ahead and save that, because you can use it for another layout, a big tag, something for later. The great thing is about Club Q, you get an extra pack of just kind of random papers that you could make a whole nother layout out of if you would like. Okay, so we have one 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and now we are going to cut this at 6 1/2. This is left over. And then we'll turn it this way and cut it at 4 1/2, 2 times. So 4 1/2. Slide it in, 4 1/2, and leftover piece. I kind of make a piles of my leftovers. And as a lot of you know, with our Quick Quotes kits, we typically use almost every piece in the kit. So even with our laser die cuts, we say don't throw anything away until the very end, because a lot of times we will use some of the negatives or something like that for the layout as well. Okay, so I think we have all the cutting diagram done. I'm going to move this out of the way. And like all of our kits, we always, if there's anything to cut, it says at the very beginning here, it says cut the 12 by 12 diagram, this 7 by 12 diagrams, the 6 by 12, cut white edges around your quote, which is this quote here. It comes on a white piece of paper. Just go ahead and trim that out so that it just has like the aqua border there. Go ahead and trim that out. And then chalk edges of anything you would like. Like I said, there is a suggestion on there, but you can use any colors you would like. I'm going to pull in our background papers. It's the 2 green plaid papers. And we're going to get started. This one we can actually kind of work on both pages at the same time. Sometimes it's easier to do one page at a time, but we're going to start kind of to the left here and work our way over. Okay, so to begin with, we are going to do this strip on the side, and I'm going to actually chalk it up here. So if you want to hit pause and chalk any of these pieces, you go right ahead. I'm using sky blue, I believe. So it kind of depends on if you like the greens or the blues better. Jade looks really nice with this. Any of the greens do. Okay, and then this is going to be about 1 inch from the left side of your page. And I'm just putting a small piece of adhesive on here because this is just a sample. It's not going to be used for later. Okay, about 1 inch from the left side. And then we have your strip that you cut from a diagram, the aqua with a little print on it. Go ahead and chalk that up. What's great about these chalks, you can just kind of go back over it and make it look a little messy. Put a little adhesive. That goes right down the middle of your white piece. And then the blue strip that goes on top of that, the blue strip with dots, is actually from your die cut sheet, and I actually left this piece in so that you could see that this is an actual piece that you use. It is this little strip right in the middle of the sheet, so this whole part can come off. You might want to trim it with some scissors. You have to put lots of notches in these kind because it's right in the middle and it holds the whole laser together. So this is actually a leftover piece, but that's a nice big piece that you could use for a photo backer or something on another kit or on another layout. Okay, so a little bit of adhesive, and then that goes right down the middle of that aqua piece. Okay, so next we are going to put together all of our photo backers. So your larger white pieces, I'm just going to lay these out for right now, and then we will kind of line these up, and then you can adhere them together later, just so we have them all matched up. I love this kit because I love the look of it and the colors, but I also love that it is really simple to kind of layer and put together. Looks like I trimmed this one maybe at the wrong, I do, I need to take another 1/4 inch, it looks like, off of my white piece. So if I gave you the wrong dimension, you need to trim just a little bit off. It looks like a 1/4 inch would make it perfect on that white backer there. Okay, so then go ahead and chalk those up any color and add adhesive. I'm going to use green on this one. I love this jade. I do just a little more around the corners because I really like that look, that it gives it a little extra dimension. And if you like it darker, just go around one more time. Just add a little bit more. Depends on the look that you like. once you have these all chalked up, you can adhere them to the white backer right in the center. And feel free with any of these papers. If you like the other sides better, you go ahead. Use the other side. Totally up to you. Just go right in the center. And again, if it gets going too fast, just hit pause. Come back to it when you're ready. And I'm just going to kind of look at my instructions here and start layering things. You can look at the instructions if you want to for exact spacing, but really this one is, you can totally work in bouts because there's nothing that has to be in the exact spot. And it kind of depends on the pictures that you're using, whether you want to cover up that little space, you want to move it over. So you feel free, but this is on the right page. This is about 1 inch down, about 1 inch in. This one actually starts up a little higher, about 1/2 inch down from the top, and about 1 inch in from the right. This one just gets layered over top of it. Close to 1 inch up over top of it here. And then we will put our tags together as well. So I'm doing this one like it looks like in the picture, but you add these to your page however it works for your photos as well, okay? Okay, so these circles, you can punch out the centers. I'm not gonna glue these down yet. A lot of times I get my whole layout kind of together and then I go back and I adhere it to the page when I know where my photos are gonna go. So these circles, you can just put pictures behind them. You can use the inside, flip it over, use that. You can use the leftover, where is it? The leftover paper from your diagram to put behind there. You can trace your circle, cut it out, and that can go in behind there. That's how it is in the photo instructions. But this is totally up to you. I would typically use these for photos, these green frames. And if you like to use that side instead, you can. Okay, now we are going to layer up some of the other pieces. There is, out of your die cut, you had, it's about a 2.5 by 5 probably, blue piece of paper. This is what your quote goes on to. So go ahead and adhere that right in the center. That goes right up here. And then your tags. There is a blue dotted tag. That the green frame goes on. And there is holes that you can line that up because we have in your little embellishment pack, we have 2 white brads. And what I typically do is just put it together with the brad. Unless you already have your photo in it, I just put it together with the brad so that you can easily take this off, trace your picture, cut a picture and slide it underneath there, and then I put a little adhesive on the bottom here to hold it down. And your solid green tag with the blue dot over top. And again, I'm just going to put the brad in so that you can easily pull this back up, get a picture under there, and then you can adhere it down. And that goes a little bit under this frame here. This is why I don't glue things down to begin with, so I know where I want them. And you have these cute little banners. I love these because it has the little stitch marks around it. Makes it look pretty cute. Once you have your photos on, I would just use your instructions as a guide to kind of put where you need to. Or if you have photos that come down further, just move these down a little bit. You add these however it is that works for you. And then the largest pinwheel just goes right at the end of that. On this side, the green I have just at the top of that one. And then my blue one, which I used the 3-in-1 adhesive and left something heavy on it, that one is now dry, ready to go. And I just tuck that one in. And depending on how your pictures are, you may want to turn those a little bit. But super quick kit, but a fun, springy kit for you. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being a Club Q member. We appreciate it. If you get a chance, send us a picture on Facebook with your layout complete with photos in it. We love to see what you do with the layouts. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for being a member, and we will see you next time.